Aw yeah, Rivers here with some cool tech, and today we're going to take a look at the Minix Neo A2 Air Mouse Remote Control. This remote is custom made for Android mini PCs, but it will also work in Windows, OS X, and Linux. Inside the box you get the remote, RF adapter, and your operating instructions. Here on the instruction manual you can see the different options and modes that the A2 is capable of. As far as build quality goes, I feel like the A2 is one of the best remotes I've tested so far. But the most important thing on a gyro remote is the range, and this remote has really good range. Also, if you're using this on a Minix Android mini PC with the latest firmware, every button on here works, which is a lot better than a lot of Air remotes that I've tried. Now let's take a closer look at the buttons on the remote. So you've got a power button that can also be used to reset and sleep. You've got a speaker for video calls, your mute button, your task manager button, menu button, home button, your multi-directional button with your select or left button in the middle. You've got your back button, enter button, game mode button, volume down, volume up, your app drawer button, rewind, play, fast forward, and a microphone for voice to text. On the back you've got your full keyboard with alternate options using the function button. Also it takes regular AAA batteries, 2 of them, so I put a couple rechargeable Sanyos in there and they work awesome. They basically last forever. Now we're ready to connect it to the Neo X7, so you just plug the dongle into a free USB port, and this should work on any other Android mini PC also, but all the buttons will work on the Minix devices if you're using the latest firmware. So you can see here I'm using the center button to click and drag and get to where I want to go, and I find having the center button the most useful configuration for a remote. So one of the first things you'll want to do once you hook up your A2 or any Air mouse really is go down to language and input, and you're going to change the pointer sensitivity. I like to put it a lot lower, and it makes it a lot easier to control this way. The only issue I've had on the remote so far is the audio comes out of the speaker on the remote, and you can switch that in the settings to come out of the TV, but when you restart the Android mini PC it goes back to coming out of the remote. Minix says they're working on a fix for this, but what I did as a workaround is I created a shortcut to the audio section of the settings and put it on the desktop. This could be fixed in the latest firmware release, so we'll have to see. Here you can see some of the different buttons working on the remote, so here you can see the background tasks. And here if I hit the power button it goes into sleep mode. But if I press and hold the power button for a couple seconds, it'll give you the option to either reboot, sleep mode, or power off. Next up, let's take a look at the microphone on the remote. When is the Galaxy Note 3 coming out? So I could get it to work from up to about 10 feet away. After that, it couldn't get a clear signal of what I was saying. But this is still the best microphone on a remote that I've used so far. How much does Jupiter weigh? So it's got a speaker on the top of the remote and a microphone on the bottom of the remote. That way you can use it like a telephone when you're using Skype or other video calling software. Here's another tip that might be helpful. If you need to recalibrate the gyroscope, press and hold function and Y on a flat surface for 2 seconds. Function light should blink 4 times and you should be recalibrated. Or if you need to resync the remote with a USB receiver, press function plus P. Next up we have some gaming. The A2 works pretty good with the gyro function in a game. Now I didn't have any way to hit any buttons if you need to do buttons along with the game, but you might be able to bind in some keys using something like 6-axis controller. Still, it's off to a really good start, and it's the most gaming friendly controller I've used so far. Also, you can rotate the axis on the remote by pressing function and enter. This way you can use it like a steering wheel or handlebars, and I think it's actually the easiest to play this way too. So anyways, the Minix A2 remote is kind of like the Swiss Army knife of remotes. It does a ton of different things. It's got the Air mouse, it's got the keyboard, it's got every button you can think of, it's got the voice, it's got the speaker, and even a working power button. But again, the most important thing to me about the remote is just the range. It really has a good signal. I couldn't get far enough away from it to not work, and I can go all the way about 20 feet away from it in my house and still see the TV. By the way, be sure and check out my new channel, Rivers First Look. This is where I put up quick reviews of items that don't take me a long time to edit. That way I can get new hardware out as soon as I get it. Just look at all this stuff I have sitting around waiting to be reviewed because I don't have time to do an in-depth review yet. This is for a video editing computer I'm building, and here's some more media player hardware that I haven't had a chance to review yet either. But stay tuned to my channel because I'll have reviews of these items coming soon, and subscribe to Rivers First Look because I'll have quick reviews of some of the items on there as well. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give the like button down there some love, and I'll put links to the Neo A2 and all the hardware you saw in the video in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and as always, aloha.